Welcome to my humble abode, everybody. I'm assuming most watching this video know me from Instagram, so this is probably the first time you're going to be hearing my voice. I'm going to dive a bit deeper into what the channel's actually going to be all about at the end. I kind of want to just get the video out of the way in case anybody is new and they don't know me from Instagram. We are going to be doing Travis Scott's discography tier list. I'm doing mixtapes, albums, and collab projects, so there's a total of 7 projects we're going through, but without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, so starting off with Travis's first mixtape, I really don't think Pharaoh is all that bad. Is it good? Well, no, but it's not awful. It certainly has some highlights that carry the project, including Hell of a Night and Dance on the Moon, but outside of that, the track list is a little bit shaky. There are the bangers like Quintana, Upper Echelon, and even Bands, and that kind of showed what Travis was capable of in the hit-making department, but none of the songs are really good enough to me to say that they can carry a project. The lack of exposure to Pharaoh might be hurting the grade. Not having it on streaming services definitely doesn't help, but I think it's more of a skill issue here. Travis was just starting out and transitioning from a producer, so the growing pains are kinda to be expected. I don't think Pharaoh can really be used against Travis, granted that it is a debut mixtape, but I've never heard a pro-Travis argument that uses Pharaoh to back it up as evidence, and I think there's a good reason for that. For that reason, I'm gonna put this into the mid-tier. It has some good peaks, but 80% of the project is just filler, and it's not really interesting even in the slightest. Alright, so moving into Travis's 2014 mixtape, Days Before Rodeo, I think this is really the first time that we hear Travis Scott for what he could be. The potential was kind of there on Pharaoh, but it still seemed a little far-fetched, and Days Before Rodeo kind of puts the piece of the puzzle together pretty nicely. It's a good length, it has a bit of everything. You got bangers, Don't Play, Quintana Part 2, Mamacita. You also have some great trap hits like Skyfall and Prayer, and then there's just Drugs You Should Try It, which for me still lands as one of Travis's best songs to date. With a fully loaded feature list, it's pretty easy to see why people think that this is one of the best mixtapes of the decade. I mean, Travis just loaded this project with hits. There's still a few misses like Sloppy Toppy, Gray, and Zombies, and just in general, the back half of the track list does fall off. Front half is still ridiculously impressive, and looking back on 2014, I think you really do have a strong case for this being one of the stronger rap projects of the year. I mean, not a ton else dropped that year, and this meets all the requirements of being a great rap album. It just has a beautiful aesthetic, which is something Travis has definitely nailed down. So considering all of that, I think DBR fits pretty nicely into the great tier. It comes close to potentially competing with the elite works of his discography, but I think the relatively weak back half kind of holds it back. For Travis Scott's first studio album, he absolutely came out swinging and dropped Rodeo in 2015, which I think I could pretty easily say is one of the greatest trap projects of all time. This project deserves every ounce of respect it gets. There was actually a point when I believed this to be his best project. This is just so loaded with classics like Nightcrawler, Oh My Dis Side, 90210, Maria I'm Drunk, Pray for Love, Antidote. Like, all of these are just undisputed classic rap songs. Like, they're not just like some people think no, those are just classics. And that doesn't even include the underrated tracks like Apple Pie, Impossible, and the intro Pornography. It was clear from DBR that Travis had potential to pull something like this off, but the fact that he was able to spin it around 1 year later and actually put something like this out is almost mind-boggling. DBR is great, Rodeo is a certified classic. Rodeo does everything DBR did and more. The misses and filler tracks are not really as present. They do still exist. Flying High and Piss on Your Grave can both go die, but outside of that, I'm not really skipping anything here. Travis was just absolutely not fucking around on this tape, and the world is better for it. Regardless of what you think of Travis Scott, it's hard to not respect this tape, and if it weren't for the misses, Piss on Your Grave specifically, because Travis and Kanye jumping on the track together just to miss that badly is genuinely a cock tease. This would go into the perfect tier, but sadly, can't put it there, so it will fit comfortably into the elite tier. A good spot for one of the best trap projects of all time, and basically the spawn point for one of the biggest rappers in the world. Now, it's never easy to follow up a project the magnitude of Rodeo, but 1 year later, Travis Scott did with Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight. And this is pretty easily, to me, his most underrated project. This really is a classic in my book. Now, when you realize that this is his worst studio album, it kind of hits you that maybe we need to start having some serious conversations about Travis Scott. I think the peaks here compete with most of his other projects. Pick Up the Phone, Wonderful, Goosebumps. I mean, those are some of Travis's best songs to date, but he tries a bunch of shit out here. Like Lose, Guidance, and Sweet Sweet are all very distinct sounds from anything else he's done, and I think that is part of the reason why this album tends to get so underrated. It's kind of a shame that he appears to have moved on from Rodeo to ASTROWORLD so quickly, because with more time and thought, Birds could probably have ended up on that same elite level. The dark and moodiness of the tape works so well, and I mean, he pulled features from Andre 3000 and Kendrick Lamar. I think Birds had the potential to join Rodeo in the elite tier, but since Travis really didn't fully flesh it out, I think joining DBR in the great tier makes a bit more sense. Since Travis didn't want to break his streak of dropping a project every year to this point, he gave us his worst work since 2013 in Huncho Jack Huncho. It is genuinely wild to me how forgettable this project is. I don't want to be too rough on it, so I'll start with the pros. Believe me, this won't take long. Modern Slavery, How You Feel, and Black and Chinese are all pretty enjoyable songs. Travis Scott and Quavo are both featured on every song together. I know that's the point of a collab tape, but it's hard to find good things to say about this project. It's boring, it's forgettable, it's not interesting in the slightest. It's everything that Travis's music to this point and afterwards usually isn't. Travis is known for creating experiences here, and I guess he just forgot that part of the album. I know some Travis fans that straight up haven't listened to this all the way through, and I can't blame them at all. I don't really know what the point of this project was, but it probably wasn't to just be a complete throwaway. Maybe it was a cash grab, and this rant, it may be a bit too harsh on Huncho Jack. It does have a few songs that I wouldn't turn off if they came on, but most of it is just, you could play it for me and I would swear I'd never heard the song before. So I think it fits nicely next to Pharaoh. In the mid tier, it's not necessarily bad since there are a few songs that I'll keep on, but Travis can do a lot better. So if Travis's spin from Days Before Rodeo to Rodeo the next year was impressive, the move from Huncho Jack to ASTROWORLD the next year is nothing short of incredible. Travis atoned for all of his sins on Huncho Jack by releasing an absolute masterpiece the very next year. This is Travis at his best. It would have been reasonable to assume that Rodeo would always be his best album and that Travis would never surpass it, but 3 years later, that's exactly what he did. He really didn't just pass it either. He absolutely zoomed through Rodeo and just dropped an absolute experience. That's really the best way I can describe what ASTROWORLD is it's a full-blown experience. I mean, everybody I know remembers the first time they heard Sicko Mode like it was yesterday. Pretty much every artistic decision he made here was a good one. Stargazing is his best intro, Coffee Beans is his best outro, and ASTROWORLD's his best project. Tame Impala, Drake, The Weeknd, Twice, Sway Lee, the aforementioned Blind Goat Stevie Wonder, Frank Ocean, and many, many more. This might be the strongest feature list for an album we've ever seen, definitely up there for rap albums at least. And they were all hidden, which just made the first listen 1,000 times better. Travis was not playing around with ASTROWORLD, and you could see why he would announce this before even dropping Birds in 2016, which usually I wouldn't support, but if you're gonna come out and you're gonna announce something and then drop 2 albums before it, it better be at this level, and this one stands alone above the tier list in the perfect tier, as it really is one of the defining rap albums of the past decade. So coming off of ASTROWORLD, Travis, I guess, didn't want to break his streak of a project every year, so in late 2019, he released his second collab project, JACKBOYS. Now, JACKBOYS fared so much better than the piece of shit he dropped in 2017. It actually has some sort of purpose, and when you got through your first listen, you were like, man, that wasn't a complete waste of time. It's always a good thing to think about an album. JACKBOYS is easily the shortest of his works. It's only 7 songs. Albeit one is just an interlude, so it's really 6. Well, yeah, The Highest in the Room is one of my favorite Travis Scott songs of all time. And he decided to absolutely mutilate it by adding Lil Baby, who I guess makes sense, But then he decided to grab Rosalia as well. That didn't work at all, actually. And he's tried this before. He put Mia on Franchise, and that song was so bad, he actually released an alternate version without her, and that one gets more streams. He tried again recently by putting Bad Bunny on K-pop, and, well, if you've been on the internet in the past 2 months, you know how that went. So, the other 5 songs are relatively solid. What to Do and Had Enough are the highlights of the project, and both are still in my rotation 4 years later. Out West is a lower tier Thug and Travis collaboration, but it still works. Gaddy is the only time we get to hear Pop Smoke and Travis on the same song together, so that's awesome. And Gang Gang is fucking garbage, but overall, not too shabby. I think JACKBOYS fits pretty nicely into the good tier. If it was a bit longer and Travis threw Gang Gang into the fucking garbage where it belongs, then maybe it could join Birds and DBR in the great tier, but I just don't think it's quite at that level. Moving into Utopia, I really can't remember an album getting so much hype and just completely living up to the expectations. I really feel like I didn't see anything negative online about this project. So breaking his 7-year run of dropping an album every year, Travis took 3 years off, and it seemed like he was doing everything but making music. I do think the theory that he was supposed to drop this in late 2021, early 2022 before Astrofest has quite a bit of merit, but regardless. Travis returned 5 years after his last solo album, ASTROWORLD, and released a masterpiece. An instant classic. For someone so big in the game to return to their roots like he did is unheard of in 2023. Travis dropped some of his best songs to date here with Hyena, Sirens, My Eyes, Meltdown. Those are some of the fan favorites. He pulled another stellar Drake feature, got The Weeknd twice again, pulled Sampha, Beyonce, Bon Iver, SZA, and others, but still he was the best performer on the project. Travis took 5 years off, and he absolutely made each of them worth it. Utopia was totally worth the wait, and it stands as the second best project to me. This album is just so complete. There was nothing here that got left unchecked, and I can't credit Travis enough for that. If not for Modern Jam, Parasail, and God's Country, I might actually have this as a 10. Unfortunately, God's Country is just creepy, and the creepy part doesn't bother me, it's just kind of shit. Parasail just is shit, and Modern Jam is fucking garbage. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Modern Jam is ass. The beat sucks, the song sucks, it's boring, and it just sucks. Despite the cancer that Modern Jam is, the rest of the Utopia is good enough to place it right next to Rodeo in the elite tier. Travis wasn't fucking around here, and he really did cement himself atop the rap game with Utopia. So, with all that being said, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. If you're still here at this point, that's awesome. So jumping into what the channel is going to be about, it's going to kind of run similarly to the Instagram page. I'm assuming most people know me from there. I just wanted a different way to express my opinions and bring content to you guys. I thought it would be better for building a brand, which is obviously something I'm trying to do. I'm going to be doing more in-depth videos on YouTube. The Instagram posting schedule is not going to change. Still 5 days a week, doing reels as well. So none of that's going to change, but I just wanted a different platform to get content out to you guys. I don't know how many of you remember my TikTok, but that was awful. Anyways, just wanted a different platform. I hope you guys subscribe. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I don't give a fuck about turning the notification bell on. I'm gonna post about it on Instagram every time I post a video here, so that'll be your notification bell. But if you do want to subscribe, you know what, like, I'll be completely honest, it is totally for my ego, but that would be awesome. If not, that's fine. Discord, link in bio. All my socials, link in bio. Follow me on Spotify. I think this is the way YouTubers do. You just plug all your shit shamelessly. So might as well start early, start fast. So I will see you guys in the next one. Videos every Wednesday. And thank you for watching if you're watching at this point. Peace.